Okay, welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave, our technology, an introduction to the company, the technology, a little bit about our founder, inventor, and then we bring on a special guest. Tonight we have Dr. Tom Acklin. I am your host, Robin Blank Mascari, and I'm thrilled to be here with you this evening. And I think we can get ready and jump in. So we'll start out with a little presentation. And then after that, we'll bring on Dr. Tom, and then it's your turn. So if you have stories you want to share, we love your stories, or you have questions, you can put them in the Q&A. That'll help me find them really quickly versus the chat. So remember, we talk symptoms only. And let's jump in. So I'm your host, Robin Blake Mascari, and thrilled to be here with you this evening. So let's jump in. LifeWave X39 activates stem cells. Well, how exciting is that? Okay, now let's see if I can. Okay, there we go. I love this slide because when we discovered this one, it just kind of made so much sense for so many of us that we finally figured out what we want to do when we get older, get younger. How wonderful is that? And to know that it's possible. So if you live in the question, if anything were possible, and I should turn my camera on probably, not that that matters too much. If anything were possible, okay, we'll try this another way. What is the one thing you would choose to experience differently in your health? What difference would that make if you had that one thing being different? And so now we want to get into a little bit of a disclaimer, what's important to do. We're a natural products company. And just to remind everyone that our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, or diagnose any disease. They do, however, help our bodies get back into a more healthy, regenerative mode. And many times, wonderful things begin to happen. Okay, so now we want to welcome you to the stem cell revolution. This is the future of science, the future of medicine. Very exciting. To support most everyone wants to look, feel, and perform and live younger. And guess what? Stem cells are the key. So they're a vital part of our immune system that repair and regenerate damaged cells. The problem is, the older we get, the less stem cells we have. And by the time we're 60 years old, there's about 10% left. And the stem cells that are left aren't nearly as effective as those younger ones. And the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. But what about stem cell injections? Lots of people hear about that one. They're expensive, they're painful, they can be risky, they're definitely controversial, and they have no guaranteed results. So good news is this breakthrough allows you to look, feel, perform, and live younger with this breakthrough in stem cell activation. So what's happening here? Okay, come on. There we go. We have a new wearable technology in patch form. And this patch is affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, and it's drug-free. There's actually nothing that goes into your body. It's called non-transdermal. And it is a patented form of phototherapy that we're going to talk about in a minute here. It uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity. So who's behind all of this? This is the founder of LifeWave. He's our visionary founder and CEO. He's our chief scientist. He's brilliant. He's a researcher. He's a scientist and inventor first. He has over 100 patents and patent pendings, and he is on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for the last 20 plus years. David has conducted over 90 clinical studies proving the efficacy of LifeWave phototherapy, and many, many more studies are in the works. So let's take a look at the company for a minute here. It's a 17-year-old advanced technology company. Founded in 2004, based on an energy enhancing technology that David developed on a contract for the Navy SEALs to help them stay awake in their mini subs and increase their strength, stamina, and performance without any drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. And it's so effective, it's now used by world class athletes around the world in almost every sport. The corporate headquarters, laboratories, and manufacturing are in California, Utah, and Ireland. And we have global distribution to over 75 countries with 14 distribution centers. So the word is out. LifeWave patches are new, used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in just about every sport. And you can see from these photos, if you look closely, you will see some patches here and here and here. It's pretty exciting. The media has noticed. So how does it work, this technology? So it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. That's all a big mouthful. Let me break it down for you. So LifeWave patches contain some very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when applied on or near your body, they don't even need to touch your body. 3 inches from your body and activated by your body's infrared heat, actually, they begin to emit a very specific wavelength of light, which stimulates targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it's the basis of the LifeWave phototherapy patches. So it is a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can actually cause changes within the body. It's kind of like when you go out in the sun. This is one of the easiest ways to understand it. There's a frequency of light from the sun that causes our body to make vitamin D. Well, there's no vitamin D in the sun. It's that frequency causing the biochemical change. There's another frequency that causes our body to create melanin, which gives us a suntan. LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid principle. So the focus in the last 12 years with LifeWave has been on anti-aging and regenerative science. But something very exciting happened in January of 2019 that changed the whole trajectory of the company. LifeWave introduced the X39 stem cell activation patch. It's the historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation, and some people call it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science. And actually, the multi-billion-dollar companies are trying to activate this very specific copper peptide unsuccessfully, but our genius scientist, David Schmidt, was able to do it. That activates your own younger stem cells, actually, and it alters gene expression of over 4,000 genes. That's a third of our genes to a younger, more vibrant you. So X39, game changer. It's truly a breakthrough, and David Schmidt says it's his greatest achievement yet. Notice the yet, there's more to come. Yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies and field results. X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, and it's helping people look, feel, perform, and live younger. So for us baby boomers, this is very exciting. So now we're going to bring on our special guest for the evening, and let me make the introduction here. It is very exciting to share with you one of our wonderful practitioners. We have thousands of them in LifeWave. They love LifeWave, and you're going to hear why in just a minute. Well, who we have here this evening is Dr. Tom Acklin, and this is a very, very special man with a huge heart. But he comes to us from a classical neurological physician training, and he practiced at Georgetown University Medical Center, and a certified practitioner for the Center for Mind-Body Medicine in Georgetown, specializing in MS, autoimmune conditions, neurodegenerative disease, addiction medicine, and microbiome. This man is really committed to rebuild the gut brain, to really, what I've learned from Dr. Tom is that so many, if not just about all of our diseases start in our gut. And I have learned so much from him, and I'm just at the early stages. And he's a devoted leader in our company. He's just got this huge heart to be of service to people. And he's a yoga practitioner. Um, he teaches food as medicine. I could go on and on and on, but I want to bring him on. So, Dr. Tom, hi.
You are wonderful. Hi. Happy late Valentine's hug.
Oh, yes, it is. Happy Valentine's Day hug to everybody. I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. It was quite a time. It's hard to believe we're in the middle of February, but here we are.
Where did our New Year's resolutions go? Does anybody remember?
I do intentions.
Mhm.
Yes. I don't like that word resolution. So let's jump in because I'd love to hear, and I know our audience, we have a lot of guests on the line and we love having our guests. This is their first introduction to LifeWave. And you as an MD, as a healthcare practitioner, as someone who's really committed to be of service to have people live at their ultimate best. Why did you get involved in LifeWave? What is it that drew you and got you interested, Dr. Tom?
Well, part of it was you. And by the way, and you did a really gorgeous job. Gregory usually, rolls through those slides. And part of what makes my job and my life rewarding is when I see people put in novel situations and they handle themselves. And when you think about it, that's really what life is about, right? If we're doing the same thing over and over and trying to do the same thing over and over, it's really not very exciting, right? And a lot of us have fallen into those kinds of ruts. And then, then all of a sudden we get our snow globe shaken. And it's been a tough time for some folks, these past 2 years. What's really interesting is last year, a year and a half ago, a very trusted colleague of mine called me and said, have you heard of this? And I had worked in stem cell therapeutics before. I understand the therapies, and your phrase, holy grail, is right on, right? Everybody's been chasing this. And when I saw the science and I saw David and I saw the depth of that kind of commitment, and he's not done, this guy just goes and goes. And I saw a seminar from him the other day, and he had his superheroes on the shelves in his office there.
Iron Man.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of ego, but he knows he's a superhero, right? What would it be like to put people in that kind of a state? And that's what we can do. We can't change. We've been poisoned for decades and decades, lots of different ways, and we've all got our habits that we wish we could change. But almost everybody's looking to break free and live on the leading edge. And I think it's something like that. The novel in the medical sciences and the allopathic traditions, we're looking to kind of fix the problem and crutch the problem, which is good, but we forget part two of the conversation, which is what brought you into my office in the first place, right? What can we do to get you off this drug? What can we do to get you out of this situation? What can we do, right? It's nice that I have a pill to give you, but what have you been doing, right? That's what functional medicine is all about, bio-individualized medicine. And David speaks that just deeply. And then the more I heard people, as you said, thousands of practitioners, and you don't need letters behind your name to be a practitioner, thousands of practitioners, anybody opening their mouth and speaking the enthusiasms of their life, you are a practitioner, right? And this technology changes people's lives dramatically, and they speak, and all of a sudden, contagion has been a bad word here for the past couple of years, but something crossed my mind when you said live the question. And I asked myself, what one thing do I want? And I want to be contagious. I want my understanding of life. This is my ego patting myself on the back. But if we look at all of us who look in the mirror, we can say the same thing. I want them to believe what I believe, right? And that's what I saw. I saw very enthusiastic, very committed people from all different skill sets, and it's so impressive. The deeper you look, not only does the science get better, but the community of practitioners all over the globe get better. We're in 75 countries or something all over.
Now we're
Yeah.
in very, very good company, and it just the community, like you said, is amazing. Of people that are open, people are interested in what's on the cutting edge, and as a practitioner, having something in your tool chest that can, assist in enhancing the clinical outcome. So let's jump into stem cells because we touched on them a little bit, but you know, um, the average person has heard the term. They don't really quite know what they are, is what I've discovered. Why are they so, from your perspective, why is this a historic breakthrough? What is so special about activating our stem cells with light?
Yeah. Well, so every tissue in the body is both degenerating and regenerating, right? And it's as important to let go of the debris. I started writing a book which never made it to press, but a couple of years ago, taking out the trash. All right, do you have a body that actually can recognize the junk and the stuff that's not useful and get rid of it? Um, the regeneration then has a space to go, and the body learns as we go. And we make 500 billion cells every day. We're constantly doing that. Some of the cells in my liver, for example, are already committed, right? They've already learned a certain pathway. You can think of it as an elementary education or a military model. They've learned their steps, and they're going to become liver cells, et cetera, et cetera. Every tissue in the body is the same, but there are omnipotential stem cells that even now science is finding that they're not just isolated to the bone marrow. They are actually isolated, or they are actually in other places. That's exciting. But when I went to medical school, they taught us that they were in the bone marrow and that they, like the good soldiers, would go outward and then become committed cells, right, down the road. What's exciting is that you can Google GHK. We're going to talk about GHK copper peptide, right, as you had on the slide there. And it is one of the upregulators, one of many thousands, but it's one of the field general upregulators of the omnipotential stem cells. And they've been chasing GHK upregulators for decades. You can Google GHK copper and the name Lauren Picard, which is a lot of what was the brainchild for David Schmidt's work. And you will find stunning regenerative medicine. And this is not new science. What is new is how can we actually get tires on this science, right? The science has been in motion for decades, centuries really, but especially with GHK and stem cell upregulation, it's been decades. And then all of a sudden, David comes along, and just 3 years ago, he'd been doing this already for 20 years, the photobiomodulatory therapies, and learning how to use these light signatures. You can think of them as the electromagnetic fingerprints of the body. Every life form has a resonance structure, right? And a resonance, a voice, and wants to be contagious, right? Right? And then all of a sudden he hit the thing out of the park. He hit his grand slam, and X39 comes along, and he's not finished.
No, he's not. So you said some very interesting things. And I think for a lot of people, they don't know that we all started out as a stem cell. And which is pretty fun to think about. And stem cells can do what other cells can't. Like you talked about, they can become anything they want to be. And they're drawn to regenerate the damaged cells in our body. Because when we're little, what happens? We heal really fast because we have billion stem cells, but like we talked about earlier, there's less as we age. So stem cells are really part of that experience to regenerate. And we can actually feel younger and better, which is exciting. So we've got stem cells. If this product activates the copper peptide, activating stem cells is just one part. And that's why we really recommend that you do your own research on the copper peptide GHK-CU. I did write it in the chat. And if you're a practitioner or someone who's used to using PubMed.gov, go there. or go to your favorite search engine, because what Dr. Tom said, it is stunning to see all the things, because we only talk about what we have clinical proof for, but there's many things we'll never talk about because we don't want to cross the line into that other world, but it's exciting. So who's this product for and who isn't it for?
Well, it's really for everybody. For a guy in my mid 50s, last year, I thought I was in pretty good shape. It's, I was one of those guys who probably would have shrugged it off and said, yeah, I don't need it. But luckily, like I said, a good friend and trusted colleague said, please, please, please take a look at this. And after I'd seen the science, I said, I want that on me and see what happens. And I had extra stamina. I had extra strength. I started sleeping better, remembering my dreams better. And you mentioned healing, by the way, healing like you're a young man, a young kid. I was a pretty adventurous kid up until yesterday, and I've broken a lot of things, and I'm an athlete, and I've broken a lot of bones, and so I know what healing from injuries is like. And about 6 months into wearing this, the X39 patch, I had a pretty bad tear on my hand from a sailing accident from a rope, and I was amazed how quickly it healed. So who's it for? It's for people who want to recover from something, for sure. It's we can't make medical claims, but we can help put the body back into the place where it was before you needed the doc to do whatever it was that he did, right? So we help people step back in time. Athletes certainly recover. The body remembers, yeah? And so athletes recover what they think was maybe lost capacity very quickly. That was personally surprising for me, and I've worked already this last year with hundreds of people, similar kind of breakthroughs. And there is an effect called retracing, where all of a sudden the body has the energy today to take care of what it probably should have taken care of back when, right? And so even a lot of scar tissue is repaired. A lot of the chronic issues that we're seeing people debilitated with now become not chronic issues. All of a sudden, the body's in loss mode for a long enough time, and then all of a sudden it's got what it takes, right? You need a little bit more to be in gain mode and to go back into retracing. But the more long-standing that is, the more profound it is. People whose body hasn't remembered how to be competent in the moment sometimes takes a little longer. So we talk about, try it for at least 1 to 3 months, 30 to 90 days. The patches work whether or not you notice them. Some people notice it right away, and they notice it immediately. So it really is for everybody. If you're in great shape, you can be in even better shape. And if you're not in great shape, recovery is certainly possible, which is, again, another leading edge conversation. A lot of traditions don't carry the conversation that you can get better from anything. And we literally, if you didn't have it when you were born, it is what's called an acquired condition, right? It might be a very long-standing acquired condition, but it's not a disease. And underneath, you're okay. So all of a sudden, you put the body back into a place where it has that regenerative capacity. We've seen all kinds of things. People who shouldn't take it, definitely, we're not giving medical advice, and we can't do that responsibly. So this is always in coordination with your practitioner, whoever's overseeing you. I will say that I've had a stunning a number of practitioners who they saw their patient get better and they knew they didn't do it, and they wanted to know. And then all of a sudden, so we talk about being an ambassador and being contagious. You as a patient who says, hey, doc, I'm going to do this. Watch me very closely, So the doc very properly probably will say to immunocompromised people, it might not be a good idea if you've had an organ transplant, or if you're on the, if you're on the blocks for an organ transplant. There are reasons to be immunosuppressed for certain procedures and whatnot. And so, that's somebody who's incredibly fragile right there is probably not somebody that you just want to ad hoc patch out of the blue, right? It's something that they want to talk to their doc about.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it's for just about everyone. And like I said earlier, they're non-transdermal, so nothing is going in the body. So there's no contraindications. They're safe. But like Dr. Tom says, if someone's on any immune suppressing medication, temporarily or long term, wait until you're finished with that, or X39 may not be a fit, but some of the other patches may. So what is the ideal conditions to get the maximum benefit of this product?
Well, you definitely want to change your life, right? So if optimally, if you could change your life and not eat the toxic foods and not be around toxic people and not be around toxic air and not drink toxic water, that would be the optimal condition. But realistically, that's not the way of it. We do suggest you stay very nicely hydrated. There is an acceleration of the current condition of the body, right? So that debris removal process is actually very important, and that can only happen in a hydrated body. So what's interesting is people have this conversation too. We've developed this over the last half century, that we're supposed to force ourselves to do things, force ourselves to go to sleep, or force ourselves to eat better, or force ourselves to exercise more. And the truth is, what I'm doing today is what I'm doing today, and it's probably what I can do today, right? And so I love that when we put X39 on people and we put the body back into a place where it has competence in the moment, right? It does confer a competence that is eye-opening, and it doesn't take off the table the need to make all of those other lifestyle changes, but it does change the force myself to into, hey, I feel like it. I feel like eating better, right? And people's instincts change too. You drive past the fast food and you don't want to stop, and you don't want to put the toxic junk in your body. I think maybe one other little bonus situation, what would optimize it would be have a friend do it with you, right? The more people around, a lot of times we make the change and we plant our flag and we say, I'm done with this family, or I'm done with this toxic office food, or I'm done with this clubhouse. And it's hard sometimes when the conditions around us are the same to maintain our own personal commitment. But the more people around you, you can say out loud to, hey, I'm really excited about this. I'm going to try this. And would you try it with me, or would you keep me accountable, or would you, maybe would you ask me from time to time? So I would encourage people not to hide, not to do it alone, do it with people you love.
That's so beautiful. And David Schmidt talks very often about, we have to do our part. The patches do amazing things, but to get the best results, we've got to do our part with nutrition, with rest, with, exercise, with hydration, all the basics. And then you'll get even better results. And when you make a big change, like Dr. Tom just said, having an accountability, having a buddy can make a big difference. So 12 hours on, 12 hours off, our body needs a break from the signal, and hydration, and it's that easy, peel and stick. So are you ready to open up and see if we got a few questions here?
Sure.
All right, let's see what we got. Oh my goodness, we've got 104 people on tonight. How wonderful. Thank you everyone for taking the time out this evening, and hello in Facebook land. We're with you there also. So Flash, we had the first question. He says, what would you say if asked, what percentage do you feel this can increase your clinical success in any holistic health practice? Oh my.
That's actually a beautiful question, and it's one of my favorite things. And we all know what it's like to go to the chiropractor and then have to go back to the chiropractor 6 weeks later, right? Hey, it didn't work. But the beautiful thing about this community is we have so many different kinds of practitioners. It does help your body handle a massage better, right? A massage is kind of an inflammatory process and you're supposed to assimilate. It helps the body handle an exercise better, or PTOT, right? So it's great for practitioners. all, especially rehabilitative practitioners and biomechanical rehab. So PT, OT see all kinds of great jumps with these technologies in their patients. Nutritionists who have really nice menus of stuff that's going in the mouth. When you chew and swallow something, it's not yet in the body, right? And even great supplements. And you need the mechanics of the body to actually take advantage of that and get traction. So nutritionists love it. I would say just about across the board, almost anybody. And what percentage? That's hard to say.
Yeah.
But success is success. Yeah.
Yeah, we had one of our doctors in the past. She said, as a natural doctor, it takes time. And what these patches allow her to do is give people the results. Like in the allopathic world, if someone's got pain and you give them a pain med, it takes about 20 minutes and they get some pain relief. It's masking the pain, but it is pain relief. And with some of these products, people can actually feel them quickly, like sometimes almost instantly or rapidly. So it's pretty darn exciting. And I don't think there is any way to figure out the percentage, but we hear it over and over and over again that it enhances the clinical outcome. So thank you for asking that, Flash. That was wonderful. Casey wants to know, she said a family member finished with the chemo a couple months ago. What patches do you recommend he use to repair his body?
Well, again, a patch on.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy.
Sorry about that.
We needed to hear that again. Grace.
Yes. So.
Aging graceful.
Yeah.
Again, the big question is why was the cancer there in the body in the first place? So you can take the tumor out. You haven't changed the body any. You haven't changed the cancerous body. You've just taken away the evidence of the cancer. And a lot of what we do is shift people metabolically and again in the moment, but you have to make some lifestyle changes. Dr. Barber actually spoke brilliantly last week on the power of not detoxing too fast, right? So a cancerous body, only not knowing a thing about this person, is a very fragile metabolic creature, and especially post chemo, very fragile. We have a great technology called EON, which we market for stress and anxiety. It's great for central nervous system. It's a wonderful stabilizer, and depending on the metabolic competence of the person, we can walk through some of the different technologies. But it would be again, don't do this alone. Talk to somebody who has done this. Talk to the person that you work with the most, and we have some deeper. We focus here on X39 more. But we do have some deeper conversations, and we can point you to some places. But the answer to the question, can I recover from this, is always yes. Whatever this is, the answer is yes.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that about that disease that people use that for, because a lot of people don't realize that it's throughout the body. It's not just in one place, even though it shows up there. So, and we're not going to get into that long conversation right now, but I'd love you to address, I'm not a doctor. I am not a practitioner. I share the great news of LifeWave, but what I love about LifeWave is it doesn't matter what the challenges that someone's dealing with. We always start with X39 because it's foundational and so comprehensive, but I say that X39 En and Glutathione for just like really across the board. And then we have other things too, but those are like, they do so many wonderful things. What's your perspective on that?
Excuse me. Well, again, somebody who's incredibly fragile, glutathione is a pretty powerful detox, right? So you do want to start slowly. That's a great trio. And for somebody who is not quite sure, I would, you always want to build to X39. You're right. That's our cornerstone. That is the holy grail. Now we actually have a second sister technology with it called X49, and the clinical trials on it were just stunned David even to see the upregulation in bone health and the upregulation in brain health and the upregulation in muscle mass and decrease in fat. and exercise performance is fantastic. You know that I am a huge fan, in addition to that trio, of our, I think the unsung hero of the entire product line is SP6. And if you look on the back office, and if you look on the marketing materials, you look at SP6 and it looks like it's a sugar patch. And now I don't even think it says sugar anymore. It says helps with cravings. It is amazing. Helps with cravings of all kinds. People who want to taper off all kinds of substances, people who want to put their body in a place. The reason it helps with sugar cravings is because it's such a powerful hormone balancer. And it actually puts the body in a place where it is ketogenic, which is what people who are moving into a functional medicine diet and a food as medicine diet are trying to do. You want to get your body into a place where it's ketogenic, and SP6 does it like that. And I think if I can get David's ear in Florida, by the way, I'm going to have a long conversation with him about how I want to be the new ambassador for SP6.
Well, I think we can set that up ahead of time.
I think so too. Yeah.
Let's do that. And that's what's so exciting. So foundational X39, depending on your situation, other things. So yeah, X39 is the regenerative patch. And that can make a big difference for someone who's in recovery, and then gradually introduce some of the others. So we have a Zoom user, Zoo. What patch for ringing in the ears, specifically for someone with ringing as a side effect from a medication for an autoimmune issue with a Swedish sounding name?
Yes, I know it well. Well, I think she answered her own question, a side effect from medication. Again, we can't play doc here, but we do have two different technologies that help with circulation and bringing repair to the tissue, that whatever tissue is throwing the tantrum, right? And ringing in the ears is the body properly saying, hey, we're not getting what we need here. And we could dive deeper into that, but you could actually take a technology we call energy enhancer, and you can put it on your TMJs. We've done that. We've also put energy enhancer on the temples, and that's sort of an advanced, as you said, Robin. Eon is maybe the first nice security blanket, right? You can put the Eon on and right on the back of the neck, and circulation in the entire upper body. Well, these are total body activations, right? So we have suggested placements that are proven because our clinical trials were done on those particular placements, and we work along with meridian points. And but it really is a total body activation. It works anywhere, but you could put an Eon patch on the back of the neck while you're talking to the doc about what you're about to do for the next couple of months and get off whatever medication you want to get off.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And I want to go back to SP6 for such a minute. And Ian, I've heard many massage therapists actually put the Eon on the top of the spine of their clients, and their body gets into this big exhale. So they're much more receptive to receive that wonderful work that the therapist is going to do. So chiropractic massage, it's a wonderful thing. And then SP6, I just have to tell you a story I heard the other day from someone local to where I live. One SP6 and she stopped smoking.
Oh my.
One.
Beautiful.
One. I know. Very exciting. Okay. So anonymous attendees asking, what about people who have had open heart surgery? Would it be advisable to use IceWave, X39, or what?
This is one of my favorite things to happen in the past year and a half. I told you I had a lot of accidents and scars, and I have scars everywhere on my body, and they're almost all gone. And I actually had an aortic valve replaced 6, 7, 8 years ago, maybe. And everybody knows what a zipper scar looks like, yeah. And I started using this and was stunned that the quality of the scar was changing, and it is almost gone today.
Wow.
We have a regenerative capacity, and just with X39, and in fact with X49 too, David presented some really nice research on skin regeneration, and that's not what they focus on, but they did see some very unexpected hair growth and skin regeneration and scar improvement with X39, in addition to all of the other improvements. So yes, perfectly safe. As Robin said earlier, there's nothing in the patch that actually goes in the body. So there's nothing that actually will interfere with anything. And what it's doing is harnessing the natural regenerative power and effects of your body.
Great. So post open heart surgery, X39, anything else that you'd recommend?
Oh yeah, lots. Depends on
Okay.
who it is, but we have a patch called carnosine. Carne is meat, right? And one of the great pieces of meat in the body is the heart. And carnosine is great for muscle. Athletes love it. And it's great for muscle upregulation, mitochondria density, but it's also great for heart function.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. We got two more. Can you stick around? We're a little bit past.
Certainly.
Okay, great. So Karen is asking, when my new Ice Wave patches arrive, how do I use them along with X39, 49, and glutathione? My hip is chronically inflamed for about a year and very sore to get out of the chair.
I always like to have patch parties when I help people get whatever it is that they're getting. I said, you know, when they get there in the mail, first thing, just text me, call me, let's have a little patch party. So definitely work with the person that that you learned about this from, for sure, and go slowly and keep a journal. And you want to start one thing at a time. So, you know, whoever shared that with you will walk you through how to do that best. And do keep track, because things change, and interestingly, things change quickly. And it's fun to go back and see where and when and how. And that'll help the person that you're working with too.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's our job, is to help people get the best results. And you know, I heard Dr. Nicholas say, trust your instincts. You can't hurt yourself with these patches. If your instinct says to put it, you know, on your left cheek, try it. Who knows? Move it around. You can use medical tape, you can use band-aids, and just let it be there for a little bit, wherever that might be, and see what happens. But do get support from the person who introduced you. Okay, Jerry said, I was left with a numb, tingling foot that feels like squeezing band is strangling it, and had electrical shocks for the first year and a half after a back surgery. I've been using X39 and Ice Wave to try to help. Just wondering if Dr. Tom would have any other suggestions.
Sure. Well, Eon certainly puts the entire nervous system in order. And that's a good first beginning. There's a deeper conversation about why the repair lipids, why the repair steroids are not making it to the target tissues there, and why the circulation's off. So Ice Wave is a good idea to let the pain cycle complete itself. Ice Wave is not an anti-inflammatory. It doesn't stop the pain cycle. It actually lets the body complete what the pain is telling the body to do, which is really great. So I've been phrasing it like pain resolution, or discomfort resolution. And so SP6, again, I think it might be a really nice addition. Eon for the neurovascular component, and SP6 for the repair steroids and the repair lipids there. And I don't know where Jerry is trying the Ice Wave, but right at the base of the spine might be a good idea, at the same time as putting the energy enhancer patches at the base of the feet, at the under the right behind the ball of each foot.
Kidney 1. Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Wonderful. Well, we've come to the end for this evening. Dr. Tom, thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, I love learning from you. It's a gift. I love that I have this role that I get to be with all these wonderful practitioners every week. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening. If you are a guest tonight, please get back to the person who invited you and get started. The products do come with a guarantee. We have a wonderful customer program. We also have a great program if you're the kind of person that likes to share. We're in the caring and sharing business, and everybody wins out of that. So the company has a very generous way to compensate you for sharing the great gift of LifeWave and our cornerstone product, X39, but we got lots of other ones. So thank you everyone this evening. And at this time, we're going to complete our call and say goodbye to everyone in Facebook land and goodbye to all you guys. And again, thank you, Dr. Tom. Bye, everybody.